The Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, SAS Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
Hello, I'm Dale Leftwich with Real Agriculture. Today I'm with Warren Ward. He is a Canola Council agronomist. We're at the Sure Growth Field Day near Marchwell. How are you doing today?
Really good, thank you.
Good. Warren, you get to talk a lot about diseases, and clubroot has been one of the things you covered today. But one of the diseases which is always there is blackleg. So you talked a little bit about blackleg today. You want to just talk a little bit about what you were trying to help people with today?
Sure. Well, we really wanted to start off with some of the diseases that are becoming a little bit at higher risk, or that we're seeing a little bit more, especially with some of the tighter canola rotations that we're seeing in Western Canada and in this area in particular. So we thought that would be a good fit today. And really, one of the things we wanted to talk about with blackleg is, number one, is just get out there and scout for it and look for it. That's, if it's there, it's one of those ones you want to know about. You want to know if it's getting worse, if there's something you need to change up in your management strategy with it.
So today you were there. You actually brought a couple of Westar plants, which are always a good place to start if you really want to show blackleg. But then you whipped out your handy shears there, and you actually did a little bit of a show there. Do you want to just say why you did that?
Yeah, so when we're scouting for blackleg, what we really want to look for is, number one, we're looking to see if there's those lesions on the plant. But second to that, we also want to clip those roots kind of right at ground level and have a look inside that cross section of the stem and root, and just see what level that disease is at within those plants. So that's the one tip I gave everyone was, make sure you get some clippers and put them in your truck or put them in your swath or whatever you'd be out in the field with when you're at that maturity timing when you'd be looking at those fields.
So you actually had a comparison scale there out today that everyone had a chance to look at, and so it's there, it's available. So when you were showing people, you actually made kind of a startling comment, I thought. What is the difference in yield between the number 2 and the number 3?
Yeah, so if we look at the rating scale, it's a 0 to 5, 0 being a healthy plant with no blacking in the stem, 5 being like a completely dead plant. If we were to look at that, to move one level on that scale is a 17% yield decrease in that plant. So it can be quite significant, especially if you start looking at, a 3 or a 4 or a 5.
So that's quite a huge difference. That I'm not sure. I didn't realize that stages were that had such a big difference. 17% is a lot. So you were also talking a little bit about the genes that are available now. And in the past, there really wasn't an idea about which diseases were resistant to which alleles and what type of blackleg. You want to just talk about the progress we've made on that?
Sure. So I guess this is kind of the first year that it's really been out there in the industry, where some companies have started labeling the resistance genes within each variety, and that's quite useful as a grower because if you've been using that same resistance gene on your field for more than 1 or 2 cycles of canola on that field, you're at really high risk for starting to see that gene break down and lose the resistance from that variety. So having that knowledge and knowing that if you're using a gene in group A, that if you're starting to see that disease level rise, you can now switch to a group B and see some improvement in your management for blackleg.
So as rotations, everyone knows the rotations are getting tighter and tighter. Then people used to try to go between a clear field, let's say, and a Liberty Link, in order hopefully to get a slightly different resistance in their blackleg. But we had no idea whether that was true or not. And it turns out it probably wasn't as true as we thought. But this scale actually will tell us that we are rotating in between different resistances.
That's right. As long as the variety has that label on it, we're able to make that decision. Unfortunately, not quite everybody's there yet with labeling, right. But we're getting better, and it's a nice option for us to have, definitely.
And there's still the other idea of having like kind of a general resistance, which is just a slightly different thing than that, right?
Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that today, but there is also some minor genes acting in the background in a lot of varieties too that will help with that or limiting that disease development within the plants.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Warren. I've been with Warren Ward, Canola Council agronomist, and he's been helping us look at blackleg today. Thanks, Warren.
Thanks, Dale.